I'm at Virginia Center for the Creative Arts. I'm about to show you the 5th sculpture, Pyre, that I've just finished. My residency before had 4 sculptures. They were networked through the woods. Same as the trees network themselves with mycelium. I ran off that idea in the 4 cardinal directions within this one ravine. So it's not just the sculpture work, it's also how they communicate between each other. As I'm healing, I was very inspired by mycelium because it networks the same as your brain does with these neurons. And so this work has been healing for me to be out here. It is public, but you have to be adventurous. The goal is not to create experiences that are positive for people. It's really just work that's almost got no audience. So the tension in my work is asking, what is the act of making art? If there isn't an audience and there isn't a purpose, then what are you making it for? And it's also temporary and should be taken over by the forest or just rot away, so it doesn't exist beyond, its life and the cycle that it lives in, this life-death cycle within the natural world. I also think that we have, as a culture, humans, have this aversion to death. I took this 1 year-long class about how to really live instead of like a year. If you knew you only had a year to live, how would you live it? Like, what would your intentions be? And so I've just been thinking about that. Like, even up to death row, people are denying that they're gonna die in this book. So it's really cool. It's called Peter Levine, A Year to Live. But I've been thinking about that as like bodies do incredible things like heal. Also been writing a living will, and that can bring up some great stuff and some hard stuff. But with that idea and the other 4 works that are fragile and can be taken over the woods, I built this last piece. So this is like the quarry where I was getting all the rocks. You can see the little pockets out of the woods. And then there's more along here. And then this is a piece. Oops. It is 16 feet in length. It is 12 feet tall. And it is 6 feet wide. So I got these timbers from the woods, scraped down the bark. I had people help me. Some of these stones were too heavy, so like 8 of these stones I couldn't lift. Obviously the one in the front we rolled over, but most of these I just carried by hand using stone builder ways of building rock walls and mimic that to make this stable. It's this pink quartz again. I love it. And when the light hits it right, it completely glows. And if you've seen it in the moonlight, it completely like lights up like it's its own little firefly. These are just maple timbers, keeping them above ground so they don't rot. And then just lancing them together and putting that weight on the frame, and then this keystone in the back. And these are really solid. Like, you can't move this. I'm shaking it with all my weight. And they're just sunk down with pressure to the keystone. I did, when I was building this, stick my shovel into a ground bee's nest and got stung. I've gotten some chiggers, but all this is part of the south in the summer, which extends all the way into September. It's been nice. I can collect a lot of seeds, do some studio work I'll show you later. But yeah, you can walk on this. It's stable. There's a few little like rockers. Ideally, I would have had all these big flat stones on the top, but it's hard to find all of them, so I couldn't flatten it completely out. And it's been a really cool learning curve to do both of these, meaning the stone and the timbers. So this is the piece. It's been huge. I love doing big work like this. I might have given myself longer to have done it next time, and also try to find a little more help because I am sore. All right, that's the last piece.